they're still living the illusion.
When the city speaks, it speaks to Jeff Randall. Sponsored by Bet365.
Welcome back. Peter Beagrie is our guide to all things Football League. Tranmere Rovers can be pretty flexible when it comes to tactics, and they certainly know how to throw a few shapes off the field, as Peter Stevenson reports.
5, 6, 7, go!
Oh my God. Even when you're forced indoors, it's important to keep your shape. And try and retain that sense of rhythm. Tranmere's squad went through their warm-up paces, not with Les the manager, but with Frankie the dancer. Slowly but surely, these players are finding their feet in League One. They're now out of the bottom four.
It is important. You know, when you're in it, you say it doesn't really make any difference, but it does. You don't want to, be in the relegation zone because people can't write or say anything about you without mentioning it. So you can't get away from it. So to be out of it is nice, and it's a relief. I think this is the tightest division I've ever been involved in 20 years. You're looking at the playoff places and you think we're not that far away from there, but then you look below and you think, well, we're not far away from that neither.
One reason for the Rovers' revival has been the emergence of teenager Dale Jennings. He's already attracting interest from Premier League clubs.
He's just taking his chance. You know what it's like with youth. They've got no fear. He runs at people, he frightens people, and he's done ever so well.
How big a talent would you say?
Probably as big a talent as we've produced for quite a few years. We've got quite a few players playing in the Premiership at the moment, but you go back for natural talent to the likes of Jason Kumas, who has got real talent, and Dale's in that sort of category.
Dancing, like football, is all about confidence, and gradually the players responded to their new teacher. This weekend they head to Exeter, hoping to continue their steady playing improvement because there's method in the moves.
Just to break the monotony with the lads, but also for the lads to lose a little bit of inhibition as well, because we go to do free kicks with them, and you're trying to get them to do a little bit of acting on the free kicks, and they go all coy on you. So we're trying to get them to just loosen up a little bit on that as well.
Prenton Parks looked bleak in the big freeze, and in football terms there's been little writing on the wall over the past decade. It's all about points on the field. But what about marks on the floor?
I'm the world's worst dancer, but there was some that were pushing me there. One or two did sort of okay, but the majority, they're never going to pull a bird in a nightclub hardly dancing like that. Big Enoch surprised me. He got a little bit shy, but he had the hips. Pity you can't do that when he's taking a centre half on.
In added time, some showed impressive stamina, or maybe they were just perfecting that goal celebration.
Getting warmed up there, weren't they? Good idea. I mean, is that what you had in some of your clubs? Different ideas from managers?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, it does helps with the movement. It keeps the everybody ticking over. When it's absolutely freezing outside, you've got to do a little bit of variety. And we see Alan Mann there. He's never going to get on Britain's Got Talent, is he? It's amazing the older lads don't take to it. I remember Enoch Shawomni. He could be the new Bass Savage celebrations. No doubt when they score the next goal, somebody's going to choreograph one, aren't they? You can guarantee it. But no, it's all about getting involved. All the lads. Some of them, centre of attraction, centre of attention. They take to it more than others. But I think Les has got to do this kind of stuff, hasn't he? They've got They've got no resources whatsoever. He's got to get out the best out of what he's got, and at the moment, with the lad Dale Jennings, who is definitely one to watch. He's a young Michael Owen in the making. Fantastic.
Yeah, we all know
player.
Les was the physio, but he seems a great guy to work for, doesn't he?
He is a great guy. No one will have a bad word to say about him because he's honest as the day's long. He doesn't flannel anybody. He comes out and he says, you know, total transparent. He says it as it is, and that's it. There's nothing missing in interpretation with Les at all.
Still in the bottom half of the table, you know, they're at the bottom four, as Les said there. They've got 4 wins in the last 6, which has certainly helped. And they should be upwardly mobile, shouldn't they?
Well, I mean, you'd look at that and there's 7 points off the relegation, but they're also 7 points off the top. So it's virtually mid-table, really. You look at how it's concertinaed there. If they can continue this, I mean, with 4 wins out of 6, doing really well with limited resources, and you know, they were so close years ago, weren't they, to going to the sort of getting promotion.
Yeah. Everyone's talking about Dale Jennings. 14 appearances only for Tranmere, 17 years old. Scouts are flocking there.
And understandably so, George. This guy, you know, Les said there, he plays with no fear. He attacks people, attacks defenders, and he's like a slalom skier. Often his legs, like a Michael Owen, he looks like he's going to go overtake him, but look at this for a take. Pure confidence, as I say, no fear, confidence in his own ability, and this is an absolute cracker. Drops the shoulder, talent, technique, great eye for goal, and really can go on. And what he does as well, I mean, his 3rd game was against Bristol Rovers away, scored a winning goal, scored the winning goal the other week, and then against MK Dons, he was unplayable. 2 goals and 2 assists, because when he's running the ball at pace, he actually gets his head up. So, you know, tremendous talent and a good future.
4,500 when they played Hartlepool at home. I think half that were scouts coming to look at him. But they lost. I mean, that's what they've got to be wary of, because you can drop back into that danger zone very quickly, can't you?
Yeah, of course you can. I mean, we see all the leagues, they're so tight, but it's how you respond from the defeat. And Les, you know, things like that do help. You know, yes, we've lost at the weekend. We'll analyse it, why we've lost, and if there's been an individual error, we'll take the person aside and talk about it. But also, then we'll put it to bed and we'll move on to the next and go into the week with a fresh attitude.
They'll always be the 3rd team on Merseyside, but why not the 1st team in Birkenhead for Tranmere? Because they have the capability of reaching higher levels, haven't they? They were close at one stage to the Premier League. They have been in the final of the League Cup. They could be a bigger club than they are now.
They could be in better financial climates. They were far better supported. It was simple as that. You know, people went to either Liverpool or Everton on one weekend and went to Tranmere the next, not just because it was in the vicinity, but because of the football that they played. And you know, we can make excuses and everything, but the sacking of Ronnie Moore, going back, you know, when they lost that or drew that final game within 2 minutes against Scunthorpe of getting promotion or getting into the playoffs at least on an absolute shoestring, it's mind-boggling. When I think back to that, it's like being a downward spiral from since then.
The last day of the season a couple of years ago when it could have gone either way.
Yeah, and they took the lead, and it was out of them two to get into the playoffs, and it was absolutely heartbreaking. A great start to them, go right to the end, and I think it was captain Cliff Byrne who gets the equaliser, which takes Scunny into the playoffs and invariably, you know, takes them to the final and promotion. So, you know, we talk about the fine lines. It's not any finer 2 minutes from a playoff place. So, yeah, and then as I said, downward spiral.
So currently in the bottom half of League One, 2 wins and 2 defeats in November for Tranmere, but they're still in the Johnson's Paint Trophy after being reinstated. A bit of luck that really. Accrington were thrown out, they were put back in Tranmere, so they're still in the competition there and going well in it. And games to come as well in December where they can push up the table.
Very, very tough fixtures though.
Looking at the whole of League One, the top scorers at the moment, Bradley Roy Phillips still there with 10, Josh